What drives us to help others in need? The morning was cold and brisk on November 9th, 2013, as my brother and I congregated around a group of JP Morgan employees in Island, New Jersey. There were 50 volunteers total, and instructions were given upon entering the bus to drive down to Union Beach, New Jersey, where Hurricane Sandy had left the coast in ruins. The destruction was catastrophic throughout the state, and countless residents were left in dire situations. Upon entering the town of Union Beach, New Jersey, a look of terror came over my face as we drove through various neighborhoods to rendezvous at the community center. The power of Hurricane Sandy was unprecedented, and through the bus window it seemed as if a war had taken place right in our state. My brother and I, along with several volunteers, were in disbelief, as numerous homes were left dilapidated or in unrecognizable shape. The bus arrived at its destination in Union Beach, where we were greeted by other volunteers organizing food, water, and clothing for lots of destitute residents. In order to collect my thoughts, I walked around for a few minutes to try and process what had actually happened down here, as I didn't want to believe it. I started engaging in conversation with other volunteers as they explained to me what they've been up against the last few days, working around the clock to provide shelter, food, water, and clothing for residents. I took the initiative and started to move around heavier boxes of food and cases of water to make more readily available for those in need. I felt a sense of purpose and gratification being down there on that November morning, and the rest of the day was even more rewarding. After volunteering at the community center for roughly 2 hours in the morning, they asked volunteers who would be interested in cleaning up debris, rubble, or performing demolition on dilapidated homes. My brother and I were first to raise our hands in excitement, and other volunteers followed shortly after. We all piled into conversion vans, then navigated through the suburban town of Union Beach to arrive at a particular neighborhood. We were briefed on what to do upon entering homes, which consisted of cleaning and demolishing walls destroyed by severe water damage. Residents and neighbors became incredibly excited to witness us lending a hand and facilitating them back on their feet after disaster struck 2 weeks prior. Upon entering certain homes, the damage was so severe as if a family had never lived there. There were watermarks 6 feet high on walls in various living rooms. Wood had rotted out on the floors, along with soaked carpets, and the furniture was destroyed. The majority of the remnants or belongings of residents' homes was put in trash bags and brought out to the curb, as they were not salvageable. I understood why I needed to be there at that moment, realizing some people had lost everything. Volunteers and residents moved from house to house, rehabbing from the inside out. There was a strong sense of community during those moments, which put a smile on many faces. It's these particular moments that provide a strong sense of gratitude, gratification, community, and helping others in need. The camaraderie amongst everybody kept spirits alive, while volunteers were either repeatedly swinging sledgehammers through various walls and homes, rehabbing and cleaning up throughout the various properties. Every person took turns performing various duties, which allowed for people to take a break for a few minutes, drink, or eat. It was a physically demanding day, as there was a great deal of debris, furniture, and other objects moved throughout various homes. It was the drive and motivation to assist all these people that kept us working vigorously throughout the course of the afternoon. We were interviewed by local news channels, which was a great feeling to be able to speak upon the importance of volunteering and aiding others in time of crisis. The news crews asked many volunteers a series of questions revolving around Hurricane Sandy. Residents such as Ryan of Union Beach stated, "We felt so blessed to witness our community coming together in order to help everyone in need." Another local resident named Fred of Union Beach, "I couldn't believe the amount of volunteers that arrived willing to take part in an immense cleanup of the Jersey Shore." And lastly, David spoke and said, "To have lost my home and all personal belongings is truly a gift to know that there are people willing to make sure you and your family are taken care of." Many of us spoke on the importance of uniting together as a community in order to clean up the aftermath that Superstorm Sandy had left. The only way to move through difficult times in life is reaching out and asking for help, which is what this day of volunteering was all about. When my brother initially asked me if I wanted to volunteer, I immediately jumped at the opportunity to be able to give back to those who were in desperate need. The amount of thanks and praises from residents that day was like nothing I'd ever experienced. The experience that day within JP Morgan Hurricane Sandy Relief Project was something I'll never forget. When I first arrived at Union Beach, I didn't know what to expect, and through volunteering, I experienced such overwhelming amounts of joy, gratification, and gratitude. This brings us back to the initial question of why we help others in need, and it is quite apparent that in these trying times it is imperative to become selfless and lend a hand. It's through these experiences that we grow as individuals and understand the true meaning of values and camaraderie. These are lessons that can't be taught in the classroom, but to actually experience it firsthand, visualize the surrounds, and take in what's in front of you, whether it is great or terrible. It was such a rewarding day, and at the beginning phase of rebuilding what Hurricane Sandy had utterly destroyed.